In this month's podcast, I want to talk to you about a simple but critical task we cannot overlook in our classrooms. That task is to check for our students' understanding of what they're learning. So often, our decisions are based off of the curriculum schedule, and we move ahead or slow down based on what the calendar says rather than on student needs. But what if we regularly incorporated methods for checking our students' understanding as we went along, and then made decisions based off of how students were doing? Authors Douglas Fisher and Nancy Frey describe checking for understanding as part of a formative assessment system in which teachers identify learning goals, provide students feedback, and then plan instruction based on students' errors and misconceptions. Often, teachers will use homework and tests as a basis for determining what students have learned. While these methods have their benefits, they can also be time-consuming, infrequent, or too late to be effective feedback tools. What teachers need to adopt then is a system that both formally and informally determines how well students are learning content on a daily basis. The feedback teachers receive from students needs to be simple enough to easily see what students know, and clear enough for them to be able to base upcoming decisions off of. Having this knowledge empowers teachers with more than a curriculum guide. It helps them design instruction and offer feedback based on where their students are exactly at in their learning process. Here are 10 examples of informal strategies you might consider using to check for your students' understanding. Have all students one by one report a short answer to a question and keep track of how they're responding. Use individual whiteboards or tablets for students to write down their answers and then hold them up for you to see. Ask students to rate their own understanding by holding up their fingers. A fist means low understanding, and 5 fingers means complete understanding. You can also have students rate their own understanding using any red, yellow, and green colored items, like a pyramid, popsicle sticks, or index cards. Have students show you the color that indicates their readiness to move on. Have students move to a predetermined area of the room that matches their own self-described level of understanding. Each area could feature an activity or instructions that help them learn further based on where they're at. Assign each wall of your room an A, B, C, or D letter and ask students multiple choice questions. Keep track of which wall students walk to when answering questions to get an idea of how well your class understands certain concepts. Ask students to complete a brief task related to your current skills or content and turn it in. At a glance, you can quickly and informally assess how well they grasp the material. Just ask. In brief one-on-one or small group conferences, ask students to talk about what they understand, what they don't, and how you can help. Have students complete an exit slip in which they, at the end of class, respond to a brief prompt about their learning. Scan their responses and design the next day's lesson based off of their exit slips. Walk around while students are working and listen to what they say, look at what they produce, and observe how they work with one another. Employing these methods, or any like them, will equip teachers with a quick overview of how their students' learning is coming along. Of course, gaining this information is only half the task. The other half is making adjustments to upcoming instruction based on what students demonstrate they know and can do. As you commit to regularly checking on your students' understanding, use that information to help you design immediate, helpful lessons that will teach based on exactly where students are at and where they need to go.